इष्टं स्थापितं स्वयं रूपा कदा मायं ददाति स्वशान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतापदकमलं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथां सजीवम् साद्वैतं
सावधूतं परिजनं सहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवम्
श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते पेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी
प्रणनामि हरि प्रिये
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
नमो नमः।
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु
नित्यानंद
नित्यानंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे
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 राम
राम
राम राम
राम
हरे
हरे।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept our humble obeisances on behalf of everybody who have joined the group and about to join. Prabhuji, the host for today is Priya Govind Prabhu. I was just starting for him. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for joining in. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Priya Govind Prabhu, kindly take over in welcoming Dina Sharan Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Dina Sharan Prabhuji. Hope you are well.
Hare Krishna.
Very wonderful weekend. So we are glad to have you this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam forum. So we are looking forward to you so that you can take us through this wonderful knowledge of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All glories to His Divine Grace, ISKCON Founder Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So I'm going to read through text 24 and 25, and then we can hear the purports. So we're continuing our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10, text 24 and 25, and the chapter is entitled Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hastavru hatustasya nana karma shirshaya tayostu balavan indra adanam upayashayam. Word for word. Hastal, the hands. Rudu hatu, manifested. Tasya, his. Nana, various. Karma, work. Shikir shaya, being so desirous. Tayo, of them. Two, however. Balavan, to give strength. Indra, the demigod in heaven. Adanam, activities of the hand. Ubaya ashrayam, dependent on both the demigod and the hand. Translations and purports by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands and their controlling strength, and Indra, the demigod in heaven, became manifested, as also the acts dependent on both the hands and the demigod. Purport. In every item, we can note with profit that the sense organs of the living entity are never independent at any stage. The Lord is known as the Lord of the senses, Harishikesha. Thus, the sense organs of the living entities are manifested by the will of the Lord, and each organ is controlled by a certain type of demigod. No one, therefore, can claim any proprietorship of the senses. The living entity is controlled by the senses are controlled by the demigods, and the demigods are the servants of the Supreme Lord. That is the arrangement in the system of creation. The whole thing is controlled ultimately by the Supreme Lord, and there's no independence of either the material nature or the living entity. The illusion living entity who claims to be the Lord of his senses is under the clutches of the external energy of the Lord. As long as a living entity continues to be puffed up by his tiny existence, he is sure to be understood to be under the stringent control of the external energy of the Lord, and there's no question of liberation from the clutches of illusion, however much one may declare himself a liberated soul. In text 25, Gitim Jigishata Padao Ruhate Vikam Padyam Jagya Swayam Havyam Karma Bhi Kriyate Nirbhi. Translation. Thereupon, because of his desiring to control movement, his legs became manifested, and from the legs the controlling deity named Vishnu was generated. By his personal supervision of this act, all varieties of human being are busily engaged in dutiful occupational sacrifice. Purport. Every human being is engaged in this particular occupational duty, and such activities are visible as men go hither and thither. This is very prominently visible in big cities of the world. People are going all over the cities with great concern from one place to another. This movement is not limited only to the cities, but is also visible outside the cities, from one place to another or from one city to another by different vehicles. Men are moving by cars and trains in the service, by subways within the earth, and by planes in the sky for the purpose of business success. In all these movements, the real purpose is to earn wealth for comfortable life. For this comfortable life, the scientist is engaged, the artist is engaged, the engineer is engaged, the technician is engaged, all in different branches of human activity. But they do not know how to make the activities purposeful to fulfill the mission of human life. Because they do not know this secret, all their activities are targeted towards the goal of sense gratification without control, and therefore by all this business they are unknowingly entering into the deeper regions of darkness. Because they have been captivated by the external energy of the Supreme Lord, they have completely forgotten the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and thus they have taken it for granted that this life, as presently manifested under the conditions of material nature, is all in all for enjoying the highest amount of sense gratification. But such a wrong conception of life cannot give anyone the desired peace of mind, and thus, in spite of all advancement in knowledge by the use of the resources of nature, no one is happy in this material civilization. The secret is that every step they should try to execute sacrifices toward the path of world peace. The Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 45 to 46, also advises the same secret in the following verses. Sway sway karmanya virata samsiddhim labhate nara swakarma nirita siddhim yata vindati tatrinam yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmanatam abhyarcha siddhim vindati manava. The Lord said to Arjuna, just hear from me how one can attain the highest perfection in life simply by discharging his specified occupational duty. Man can attain the highest perfection of life by worshiping the Supreme Lord and by performing sacrifice for the sake of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, who is all-pervading, and by whose control every living being acquires his desired facilities according to his personal propensity. There is no harm in having different propensities in life, because every human being is proportionally independent to chalk out the plan of his life by different occupations. But one should make it a point in his life to know perfectly well that he is not independent absolutely. One is certainly under the control of the Supreme Lord and under different agencies. Knowing this, one should make it a point that by his work and the result of his labor, he serves the Supreme Lord as prescribed by the authorities expert in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. For performing such occupational duties of life, the leg is the most important instrument of the body, because without the help of the legs, one cannot move from one place to another. And therefore the Lord has special control over the legs of all human beings, which are meant for performing yajnas. So text 24, again, thereafter, when the Supreme Person desired to perform varieties of work, the two hands and their controlling strength and Indra, the demigod in heaven, became manifested, as also the acts depended on both the hands and the demigods. In text 25, thereupon, because of his desiring to control movement, his legs became manifested, and from the legs the controlling deity named Vishnu was generated. By his personal supervision of this act, all varieties of human being are busily engaged in dutiful occupational activities. So thank you so much for having me in your association. And we are continuing to hear the narration of this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is none different than Lord Krishna himself. So this chapter, Bhagavatam, is the answer to all questions. Maharaj Pariksit had asked for an explanation all about Krishna and Krishna's control and Krishna's connection to this material existence. And so Shukadev Goswami is explaining in great detail. And in the purport to text 24, as he explains, as Srimad Bhagavatam teaches, from the first canto to the very end, the 12th canto, that we are not orphans, and we are not alone, any of us, me or you or all of us, that we are very much connected to Krishna, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that is our part of our identity. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructing Sanatana Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, so Sanatana Goswami, in the very beginning, he asked, Keami, who am I? And Srila Prabhupada explains, points out that Sanatana Goswami was very knowledgeable. He knew various languages. He was working for the king as a minister, a very intelligent man. But nevertheless, he asked, Keami, who am I? And he explained to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that although people think I'm so intelligent and I know so many things, I don't know why I'm suffering. I don't even know why. What is this material world? What is this place where I'm born into a particular family and I grow up and my parents and relatives, and, they love me and take care of me, and I go to school, and then I am on my own so much and working. And all of these sufferings from bad weather and hurricanes, volcanoes, typhoons, the freezing cold and the burning hot weather, sun, and miseries of my body, so many aches and pains and diseases, and then other living beings are sometimes attacking me, whether it's a mosquito or it's a lion or it's my neighbor. So many constant or regular suffering. I don't know exactly what's going on. And do any of us really? Do any of us really know when we're 6 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old? What is this? I mean, of course, we learn. We do learn something, don't we? From our parents, from we go to school, and usually, unless we go to a religious school, we learn basically that uh, we don't learn much really about our existence. Just everything has happened by chance, and somehow we're here, and we're all alone in this universe. So this is all ignorance, the darkness of ignorance. We are not alone. Uh, there is purpose to this existence. There is Krishna. Krishna exists. And Srila Prabhupada and the whole Srimad Bhagavatam teach us all about Krishna. And as we learn about Krishna, we learn about ourselves. Just as when we see the sun, if we can see the sun, then of course we can see everything else. Without the sun, there's darkness. So here in the text, it's described how in the course of creation, um, because of Lord Vishnu, Krishna, wanting movement of use of the hands. So we have use of the hands, and as he is able to travel, so we also can travel, chara, move with our legs. And we are all very busy doing things based upon our understanding of life, isn't it? People, we've talked about this before, everyone's values, what they want to do, what they appreciate, what they don't appreciate, what people want, depends upon the conception of our identity, who we think we are, isn't it? I am uh, British. I was born in England, so I'm British, and I have obligations to the British government, and usually, or majority, Britain, England is my country, and I'm proud of my country, and I'm a citizen, and this is our identity. And we're born in a particular family, and we think of ourselves as this is my father, this is my mother, this is our family, and grandparents, and brothers and sisters, and this is life, isn't it? This is how life evolves usually. And when we get to our little older, 15, 17, 18 years old, we begin to question, isn't it? We begin to, so sometimes we're not agreeing with our parent. No, I don't agree with these values. I don't think these family values are completely correct. I have my own values, things I think are important. And sometimes there's disagreements with our mother and our father and grandparents, what we're doing, what we want to do. Uh, so Srila Prabhupada points out that generally, goal of life, of course, is staying alive, eating. We have to eat, and so we work. We get some job. We get education. We need to earn money to pay the rent of the flat or buy the flat and buy the food, uh, car, and clothes, and then there's medical bills, and we need money. And we become married, and then there's children, and there's so much to take care of. And this is our life. And of course, it is our life. Ah, Srila Prabhupada writes, the scientist, the artist, the engineer, the technician is engaged, but generally all their activities are targeted towards just taking care of this body. So spiritual life, as we know, begins in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Uh, that never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings. Never in the future shall any of us cease to be. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna. Na jayate, na mrite, va kadachin, na hanyate hanyamani sharire. That actually there is no birth and death for any of us, that we are all undying, eternal, everlasting. We existed before this body. We will exist after this body. We are not these bodies. This is the very beginning of knowledge and the beginning of real human life is this aham brahmasmi. I'm not this nose. I'm not this mouth. I'm not this stomach. I'm not the ears. I'm not fat. I'm not thin. I'm not Kenyan. I'm not black. I'm not white. I'm not English. I'm not a woman. I'm not a man. No, I'm not. Self-realization. Then what am I? So when Sanatana Goswami asked Ke Ami, he said to Lord Chaitanya, Ke Ami. And Lord Chaitanya answered directly, Jivara Surupoi Krishnera Nityadas Tatasta Shakti Beta Beta Prakash. Jivara Surupoi. Just like sometimes when we're traveling, the police or government officers, they will ask, show me your ID. Who are you? What is your name? Isn't it? And so we produce our identification. But that's not our identification. When the government officer stops us, we should say, Jiver Surupoi Krishnira Nityadas Tatasta Shakti Beta Beta Prakash. That's who I am. My Vamsho Jivaloka Jivabhuta Sanatana Mastas Indrayani Prakriti Starni Karshati. This is who I am. I am the eternal spiritual spark of the Supreme Spirit. And so are you, my dear sir. And temporarily, I have a particular name on my identification card. Yes, here it is. You can see it. But that's not really eternal me. I am Krishnira Nityadas. That's who I am. And spirit, I'm not a Kenyan devotee or an Argentina devotee. I'm not an Indian devotee. I'm not a male, female devotee. No, I am pure spirit. As Srila Prabhupada mentioned at least once that in the morning we should think, I am not this body. And before we go to sleep at night, we should think, I'm not this body. I'm part of Krishna. This is the beginning of real spiritual life, the beginning of human life. And without this Srimad Bhagavatam makes no sense. It will not be very much attractive. Why should it? What we could say, what sane person would be interested to hear about how sense gratification is not very good and how you should really become detached? What average person would want to hear that? That's crazy. You Hare Krishnas are crazy. You don't have sex whenever you feel like it. You don't drink. You don't smoke. You don't eat meat. You're crazy people. And from their point of view, and even in our own mind to some degree, to the extent that we are in the bodily concept of life, uh, it's not appealing. Why should it be? How could we expect it to be? But think about this. Think about this. Suppose theoretically someone believed, oh, I'm a tiny part of God. I've been in this world, material world, for many, many births. And I should be back in this. There is a spiritual world. I can go there. Natad Bashayate Suryo Nashanko Napavaka Yad Gadva Davartante Tad Dam Paramamama Om Tad Vishnu Paramam. There's a spiritual world, and I can go there, and I never have to suffer headaches and stomach aches and broken bones and wars and terror. I don't have to pay taxes or pay the mortgage. I don't have to put up with so many things. Yes, let me go. And then we have a taste, isn't it? Because we would value that. No, to the extent that we have self-realization, uh, then the whole spiritual, we have a taste. It's interesting. We like it. We want it. It's a valuable thing. But to the extent that we are in the bodily concept of life, perhaps it has some appeal because it offers peace of mind and a clean life and a good life. But we can't get ecstasy in the bodily concept of life. And so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur instructs us how important it is that we don't neglect remembering and going deeper into the reality of our spiritual identity, that we cannot progress from the offensive stage, nam aparad or nam bas, of the chanting of the holy names in the bodily concept of life. It is not enough just to be, although it's very good, it's not enough to just be a good person who believes in God. No, we need to be a good person who believes in God and understands and knows that I'm not this body. I'm an eternal spiritual spark of Krishna. Jivara Surapoi Krishnara Das Tatasta Shakti Beta Beta Prakash. Very, very important. And this is the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Deyano asmin yata dehe kamadam yobadam jara tatati antara praptir dearest tatra namuyate. And there are several notable narratives in Srimad Bhagavatam between fully self-realized devotees of Krishna and others that help us to understand what is the thinking, what are the feelings of someone who is truly realizing their identity beyond this world and beyond this body. We can take advantage of those, especially like the discussions between Jud Bharat and Maharaj Rahugana in the fifth canto. Jud Bharat is the self-realized soul, and it's a long narrative, but there's some king, and the king is insulting Jud Bharat. And Jud Bharat says, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about whether I'm thin or I'm fat or I'm strong or am I weak? What's wrong with you? You're in Maya. I'm not this body. I'm an eternal spiritual being." So this is Krishna consciousness, spiritual Krishna consciousness. And Krishna is spiritual, and I'm spiritual, and there's a spiritual world. So Srila Prabhupada, in commenting on these verses, is speaking about this self-realization, not so much directly in this purport about how we are spirit soul, but indirectly, that because of ignorance of our spiritual identity, we become more interested in sense gratification. People are so interested in sense gratification because they don't remember their spiritual identity. And Srila Prabhupada writes, because they have been captivated by the external energy, they have completely forgotten the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and they take it for granted that everything is meant for enjoying to the highest degree, which is what we've been talking about. And of course, if we don't, to the extent that people don't have spiritual understanding, then there's nothing left, is there? We just have this body, and we like to eat, and we like to see, use these different senses, the nose and the eyes and the ears and the mouth, and especially the genitals, and the feet and the arms to enjoy it, to get as much sensual pleasure from this body as possible. And some people do that in a polite, organized kind of way. And then there are also criminals and low-class people who do that, uh, causing other people suffering and causing themselves suffering, and it's just hellish. So when Srila Prabhupada was asked, uh, what should we do about crime? What is your advice? He said that everyone become devotees. You chant Hare Krishna and you hear Bhagavad Gita. Because automatically, as we were discussing, as we become, we get spiritual knowledge, then automatically our values change, our character changes gradually. Everything changes according to our knowledge. So Brahman, as we know, is someone who knows Brahman. And we are all expected to become Brahminical, not just wearing a thread or something, but actually inside meditating on spirit, on Krishna, and our own spiritual identity. This is real Brahman. Just like sometimes we hear there's qualified Brahmins and there's Brahmins. Even there's friends of Brahmins. So there are many people who are born into religious families, Brahmin families, in the Hindu culture, but actually all over the world, there are families that are known to be religious, or just a Christian minister, or Islamic. I don't know what they're called. I forget the word, but those who teach in the mosques. And in the Jewish, we have the rabbi. So just because someone is born in the family of the rabbi, or born the cleric, the Islamic cleric, or born into the Hindu Brahmin, that doesn't mean that the person is automatically Brahmin. They may be a friend of a Brahmin. You can't be born in the family of a doctor and then you are a doctor. That's silly. And even us, just because we have a spiritual name, even, or because we visit a certain building that's called the temple, or even if we live in a building that's called the temple, it doesn't mean automatically that we're uh, very advanced in uh, Krishna consciousness. We have to see. We have to look at our own heart. And if someone presents themselves as being a Brahmin, we have to see, what are your qualities? What are you doing with your life? Everything is understood, judged, uh, practically in that way. And we have to see for ourselves, mostly, how we are doing. If we watch our mind, and hopefully we do, we stay aware of our thoughts. If we find that we're thinking, oh, boy, she's really fat, or, oh, he's really ugly, then we should catch ourselves. Oh, what, what do you mean he's ugly? I can't even see that man. What am I talking about? What is this? This man is ugly. This woman is fat. I can't even see her. My Krishna consciousness is becoming less. Oh, I don't like uh, Jewish people. I don't like people from Pakistan. And then we're going into more into the bodily concept of life. And uh, naturally, we want to be moving forward, making advancement. We don't want to slip back down further. We want to become more and more spiritually awake. So we watch And we should know what is the thinking, what are the thoughts of someone who's in the bodily concept of life, what is the thinking of someone in the spiritual consciousness, so that we know that. So therefore we are instructed to carefully study Bhagavad Gita, especially, and study Srimad Bhagavatam, so that gradually and always we can at least theoretically know what Krishna consciousness is. We may not be so advanced, but at least we know, oh boy, I'm really in Maya. The things my mind wants, wow. But at least we know. Srila Prabhupada once said, at least once, uh, that as long as you know you're in illusion, then you're not in illusion. You see? As long as you know, oh, I'm not doing so good. But at least we know. But if we're thinking, oh, everything I'm doing is correct, my thinking, my feelings, my actions, oh, everything is Krishna conscious, but it's not, then we're in trouble, right? Then we're in trouble. Srila Prabhupada always advised that we should always be thinking how we can improve. We can always increase our love for Krishna. Even we're singing the kirtan very good, or we're dressing the deities really good, or whatever, we can never say that the depth of our love of Krishna uh, is perfect. So there's always something to improve, and that actually gives us something to live for, or another thing, another goal. We humans usually like goals. So that I can always become more in love with my spiritual master, more in love with the devotees, more in love with Lord Chaitanya, Krishna. I don't know, how can I do that? How can I become more out of the bodily concept of life? So therefore, we are uh, uh, Satam Sangam Prasangam. This is just like Maharaj Brigid. You see, me and you, we are all doing the same thing as this Maharaj Brigid. Maharaj Brigid, he has 7 days to live. And so he's becoming more spiritually awakened by associating with a pure devotee, Shukadev Goswami, and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the simple path. We just, we ask sometimes, oh, how can I be more of a devotee? How can I become free of these uh, wrong thoughts? How can I become more enthusiastic? We just go on hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and following the regular principles as strictly as we can, and chanting Hare Krishna as carefully and nicely as we can. And this is our process. It doesn't happen when you have in the evening, when you have your evening meal and you wash the bowls and you wash the plates or you wash the pots, you have to scrub. No, you have to. It it's not just you pour the water and the pot is clean unless you just boiled water. You have to. It takes a little time. Um, so it takes some little time. But we go on scrubbing and scrubbing Cheto Darpana Marjana by this hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with pure devotees, following the basic rules, and gradually our heart will become clear and more clear, and we will enjoy Krishna consciousness more and more. We will want to hear as much as possible. We will become like mad women and mad men that we just can't wait to get home and have time to hear about Krishna and see Krishna. Just like the residents of Vrindavan, just mad after Krishna. Just Krishna would go with Lord Balaram, right, into the forest with the cows and the gopis, the elderly mother gopis and the young unmarried women. They're just thinking all day about Krishna, how wonderful he is, and the things he would do and the things he did. They just can't wait till he comes back from the forest playing his flute. And Krishna's there, everything. Mother Jashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and all of Krishna's friends, uh, Sri Dama, Sudama, Subal, Varotapa, Raktaka, all the different cowherd boys, just Krishna. They just love Krishna, can't get enough of Krishna. So this is who we are. This is who I am. This is who you are, really. This is how, not just us, your neighbors. Think about your neighbors, the people who live in the flat right next to you. They, they are like this originally, and they don't know. They may not know. And the people down the street and the people on the other neighborhoods of where you live, they don't know about Krishna and the spiritual world and living, many of them living just dull, miserable, drab lives, uh, walking a rough road, going nowhere. And some of them, of course, they are religious and they have some idea of heaven. But so many uh, just, right? Get up, you go to work, you eat, you do this, you come home, watch the telly, sex, and get up in the morning, do the same thing. Just miserable, miserable, really empty. And then another life after this, the poor souls. It's good to think of others sometimes, that we get sometimes too caught up in our own troubles. And we do, of course, have challenges, but everyone does. And at least we are on the train going back to the spiritual world. And all the people around us, so many people around us have no idea. No idea. So many right now in Nairobi, New Delhi, Lahore, Pakistan, and England, all over the world, people are in hospitals. They're leaving their body right now as we talk. Thousands of people are leaving their body right now, and they don't know about Krishna. And so we have a great opportunity to do good for ourselves and do good for others uh, uh, by giving this same opportunity to everyone we can. And if we are too busy or don't feel ourselves very capable, then we can help those who are. This is Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, and we can all connect with the compassion of Lord Chaitanya, either directly or indirectly. If we go to work every day thinking, oh, at the end of this week, at the end of 2 weeks, I'm going to give my 10 rupees to whoever, some sannyasi or the temple, so that people can hear about Krishna, then we are being compassionate. We are connecting with Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya will bless us. We don't need to be anything big, distributing so many books, traveling around the world. That's good. But everyone can connect with the compassion, missionary work through our daily activities. And Srila Prabhupada, this is being explained in the purports, that we have our arms and we have our feet, and they should be used in connection with Krishna, not just for eating and sleeping. And it will give us great joy and great purpose in life. You want a reason to go to work and make money? Let me help other people to go back to the spiritual world. Let me get the blessings of Lord Chaitanya. Let me do what I can to Yarideki Tarakaha Krishna Upadesh, to share this Krishna Katha. So up here, any questions or comments, some discussion. And before that, let me encourage us, all of us, let me encourage myself, don't wait to do something big. Don't make that, oh, when I can give 50 pounds a month to the temple, then I'll give donation. No, no, you start today, 1 paise, 1 pence, 1 shilling, 1 rupee in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, or an hour of you. Don't, oh, when I can go to the temple for 6 hours and help, then I'll go to the temple. No, let me go for 10 minutes, pick up 2 pieces of paper that are on the ground. I used to do that. On the way home from work, I'd stop at the temple. I didn't have to ask anyone. I would get a box and I would pick up trash, papers that were on the ground. I just picked them up and I was, oh, let me do a little service for Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON society. So there's so many ways we should not wait. Don't wait a second to engage in Lord Chaitanya's missionary movement. Okay, I'll stop there.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for reminding us that we are eternal servants of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Hare Krishna Nityadas. That our constitutional position is to become servants of Krishna. And here we are reading about different senses, how Lord Krishna has given us different senses, and these senses should be used for his satisfaction. So it is very, very important that we should use all these senses for the satisfaction of Krishna, because he is the one who has given us all these senses. And it's also mentioned, actually, there is a verse also from the Bible that says that never despise humble beginnings. So the way you have said about charity, for example, is just practicing. Practice is more important. Practice, because through practice, then we can make some progress. So just as a small child who is learning to walk, so the parent do not look for perfection, but the parent is so much interested in the progress that the child is making. Same case, spiritual life, also Krishna is not looking upon us for perfection. No, he's not looking for a perfection. He knows that we are imperfect beings, but he is looking for their endeavor, because he says in the Gita, as they surrender unto me, then I reward them accordingly. So
Yes.
thank you,
Very
Prabhuji,
good.
for sharing this.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
One thing we may revisit, make note of, is that Srila Prabhupada instruct the Narottam Das Thakur and other acharyas, they instruct that without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it is impossible to attain Krishna Prema. So we need Srila Prabhupada to go, that we should be greedy, right? Srila Rupa Goswami says to get Krishna Prema, you need to be greedy. You know, often humans like to make profit, and the more profit, every day 100 pounds, the next day. So greed. But so we are doing the business of Krishna consciousness. Of course, it's not business, but it is an activity. And according, as you say, as we surrender, we will advance. You know, it's up to everyone to, as Srila Prabhupada said, my mercy is available to everyone. Take it. Do it. I'm not stopping. So to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we need the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda, we need to approach Jagai and Madai. We need to connect to the compassionate missionary work. So there's a great profit opportunity. That's what I'm saying. That if we do whatever we can to assist this missionary work, we will get so much benefit. Look at me. When I was growing up, certain relatives would say, no talk of God in this house. And there was nothing religion. So how is this possible? So that is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda.
Yes, Prabhuji, in line, something in line with that, maybe just like now in ISKCON, we have this books marathon going on now. So
Yeah.
this movement is a movement of missionaries. So devotees should take charge of these book distribution. They should go to the streets and they should at least distribute books. If at all in their workplace places or wherever they are, just distribute 1 or 2 books. Then you are going to please Srila Prabhupada. And then
Yes. Or drive the
Prabhupada says,
devotees to the marketplace.
yes,
Or make a lunch for the
very
devotees.
true.
Something,
Yes,
you see?
very
So
important.
easy thing.
Yeah. So that way we are going to give compassion to the fallen souls. Actually, when we distribute books, we are giving Krishna to others. Very, very
Yeah.
important.
I'll be done in a minute.
Because most of us also join through book distribution, like myself. So it's something, yeah, I'm passionate about. Thank you so much. Anyone with a question from the group? Kindly.
Hare
Hare
Krishna Prabhuji, may
Krishna.
I ask a
Yeah.
question, please?
Yes, please. So what this verse is alluding that is the senses are provided by the demigods, is that right? And I just want to know how is it connected with our aim or desire or efforts and all we're doing, because although you're not meant to be desiring material things, you desire to go back to Krishna's abode. So how is the senses connected with the Lord then? Because we are using those senses to connect, to get back to,
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, there's
yeah,
different
yeah,
ways to think about it. One immediate way is Sarvam Kal Idam Brahma, that there is nothing but Brahman, that everything, as Lord Krishna says, is him or his energy. So our senses, everything is made of Krishna's material or spiritual energy. So in this way, they are immediately, we're always connected. It's the illusion of the conditioned soul to think that we're not connected. And the demigods, they are different demigods have charge of different functions of this world. It is said that Indra has connection to the control of the hands, not in a direct second by second way, because we can all move our hands, but in a general uh, sense, he is ultimately, well, not ultimately, but in an intermediate way, involved in the hands, and Lord Vishnu with the feet, and Surya with the eyes. But the main thing is that we have this machine of the body, and so we can use it just for selfish sense gratification, or use it in the service of the government, or use it in the service of our family, and use it in the service of Krishna. I'm going to use these senses in the service of Krishna to satisfy his desires. They're his, they're made of him. Does that help to some extent?
yeah. That's what I was made to believe. But this first time I've heard that about the demigods being involved, and that
Yeah,
I thought you it was whatever you achieve, the kind of senses and the level and sometimes your senses can be affected before you were born, and it's through your karma. So
yes.
it's
There
destined
are
before you ever
different
born.
pieces of the puzzle. Yeah,
Sorry. Yes,
different
I
pieces
am.
of the puzzle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Different players, different parts of the whole picture. But ultimately, Krishna, Vishnu is ultimately the source and in charge. And then there's lesser persons that have some control. And then there's us.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
If Surya Dev decides to turn off light of the sun, we so in that way he controls. Surya is only in the sky for all of us like 10, 12 hours, whatever it is, half the 24 hours, and then he's gone. So he controls Surya.
Right. I thought Krishna control because he's giving them that position to help us, to help him.
Yeah, yes.
That's
It is subsidized control.
yes, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's just like the
Yes.
government and us in position. Yeah. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
universal government.
Yeah, I'll go over it again. It's so beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Prabhuji, we were told that there are different types of Virat Purusha. So there is a Purushottam, and then the one described with hands and legs. And Prabhuji, can you please throw a light on all those Virat Purushas, please?
Yeah, I can't say honestly that I'm completely familiar with all the details, but at least in a general sense, there is the universal form of Supersoul, as described in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, who has thousands of faces and feet and eyes and hands and heads everywhere. So he is the inner Purusha of the entire Virat, the material creation. And then in the earlier part of the second canto, we heard the description of the Virat Purusha. The rivers are the veins of Krishna, and the trees are the hairs on his body, and like the sun and moon are his eyes. So that is another Virat Purusha, or a universal form.
So the one that
Is
is
that helpful?
described now, yes, Prabhuji, I just want to get a distinction. The one that is described now in the following verses that we have gone through is the Virat Purusha, the one with many heads and hands.
Yes, super soul.
Okay.
That's my understanding. Paramatma.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for the clarification.
Yes. There actually, not that I know all the details, as I said, but we can find it in the third canto, part 1, chapter 2 or 3, I think it is, somewhere in there. There is a very detailed description of, just like this, the manifestation of the entire material world by the Virat Purush Super Soul. So you might look there.
Thank you
Yes,
very
that's
much.
very
Prabhuji.
true.
It's a little late, I think. Priya Govinda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. You know, when you are speaking, Prabhuji, when you don't realize time is moving, you know. So I think there is no one who has some input. Can we end there? So Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful class, wonderful realization, wonderful explanation. And if I try at least to add something, maybe I'm just trying to be like a sparrow who is trying to empty the ocean, drop by drop.
All of us.
So all glories, Prabhuji, and to you, Prabhu, for your wonderful wisdom. So kindly let us unmute ourselves and we chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the glorification of Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
His Grace Dina Sharan Prabhu ki Jai.
Yeah.
Vancha Karpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namaha.
Grantra Srimad
Bhagavatam Gita.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Ida.
Hari
All glories to
Prema.
Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. I wish everyone a safe and happy week, remembering Krishna. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Have a
Krishna.
Krishna consciousness week, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lovely association. Thank you.